And welcome back to Career Build Series. This is episode number 39. And so I teased this a little bit last episode. We went and sold some of the oil that I made in the oil drilling platform. And so one thing that they added with the new oil drilling update was surge pricing. And so essentially, I think the prices are affected by supply and demand. So as you start selling more and more oil, the price will go down. As as these oil is essentially the reserves of oil have depleted, the price will go up. So I was looking, and we were probably about 250,000, 240,000 if the price is maintained. Well, as soon as I started selling, the prices went down. So we ended up with like 145,000, which is still pretty good. That will help us repay the loan. Still only have about 30 grand extra. I don't want to do too much oil. I want to kind of break it up. I like to do the different types of gameplay that I'm kind of feeling at the time. And so I want to get some more tools in our toolbox so that we can do a wider variety of things and missions. And so I talked about it in the last episode about starting a build on a helicopter. So here are some ideas I had on that. And so this is kind of my inspiration. This is the Airbus X3. I want a small helicopter. I don't want it enormous. And so I'm thinking something like this. I like this. It looks weird. It looks buggy. I like that. I like that it has polar props on there. That will help give us some speed. You know, in real life, you can obtain some pretty good speeds with just the rotor pitch in game. We really have to pitch the rotor quite a ways in order to get a reasonable forward speed. So one of the ways we can accomplish this in game is with some propellers as well. And so you actually see them doing this more and more IRL. They're adding things like pusher and puller props onto helicopters so that you can have the benefit of a vertical takeoff, but you can also have the speed of having a propeller, because this rotor here, in order for us to go forward, we have to lose some of the lift it's providing. So you have lift created by the blades. They're essentially small wings, and you change the angle of attack in the hub, and so the thrust is going down. Well, now you want to go forward. Well, you need to angle that thrust. So now some of it's still pushing you up, but some of it is also pushing you forward. Now, if you look at these are just like rotors, but now all their thrust is pushing us forward. So it gives you greater efficiencies, gives you greater speed. That's why the fastest helicopters nowadays are all using these pusher or puller props. So that's what I'm kind of looking towards, and I like the design of this one. Now, as usual, this is going to be an inspiration. It's not going to be a replica. I don't like doing replicas all that often. I like doing inspired builds, so we're going to do that. So I don't really care about the dimensions. I'm going to make this game dimensions. Now, in-game really quick, let's do this. Let's put on symmetry. Now, if I make it thin and long, I can hold a lot of people. Or I can make it wide and short and hold a lot of people. And so this one kind of has a wide footprint. So really our limiting factor in the game tends to be the seats. And so the seats are 3 across. And because the seats are 3 across, this is about as narrow as we can get. Now, one of the things I would like to be able to do is land this on the new home ship. And in order to be able to land this on the new home ship, I really need to make sure that it is not too long. The new home ship is plenty wide, but it's not overly. The space that I have on the back deck isn't all that long forward back, and I don't have a specific helipad that I'm gonna be putting on there. This is gonna be a little bit of a smaller, purpose-built home ship. It's not gonna have a really super duper large space for helicopters, and so I need to keep that in mind. And so the rotor diameter is going to be our limiting factor. So instead of going super long and thin on this helicopter, I'm going to kind of do a little bit more boxy. And that model that I was looking at is actually kind of pretty boxy as it is too. So this is our limiting factor, and this is about as thin as we can get this helicopter right here. So let's start. I'm going to kind of start. I think I want to play with these angles right now, but kind of looking at this right now. Let's try to get some sort of shape. I'm going to do fixed gear. The issue is this in game is, of course I love retractable gear. Not only are they cool, but they give me an engineering issue to fix, which is always fun in game. The issue with retractable gear is they require a ton of space. And because, in real life, you might have the metal of the gear doors, especially if it's a slower aircraft like a general aviation aircraft, they might be millimeters thick, centimeters thick at most, I'd say. And in game, of course, the smallest unit we can go down to is a quarter of a meter. And so, in order to put in things like gear doors and everything else, I just need a ton of space. And so, that is really a limiting factor. And then I need to be able to put pivots in. The pivots are reasonably large. So, I'm going to try to just quickly flesh together a design on this. By making it a little bit square, it's going to allow me to fit in more passengers. I don't need a huge capacity. I've had, if you remember what the Katie did last time, I was able to have people stand in the aisle. One thing I could do, which I might do, that I did what the Katie did, is so see, like, if I put it like this, I need, I even need more than this. And one of the issues is this is the instrument panels can't be right in front of the stick here because they need 2 blocks. So, like, this would be my firewall, as you can see there. And then in order for me to come into a point on the nose, I'm probably going to end up at here. And so you can see how that's getting longer and longer. So one thing I'm actually thinking of doing now is this. Let's go ahead. And so we'll make the back fat where it can hold multiple people and it holds a lot of passengers, but we'll put one seat in here and that will allow me to start thinning out the front a little bit earlier. So let's do that. And so that will allow me to thin this out a little bit quicker than I'm currently doing. And that will help cut down on the forward back distance, the length of the vehicle, because that is very important to me to reduce that as fast as possible. We really have to worry about, I really want to be able to put this on the home ship. Now, I've already tested, I made another VTOL already that can operate in that new home ship. And so that will work for me. But I'd like to make something you guys can see, and I'd also like to have a specific helicopter. And so I like to build in limitations to my different designs. It gives me a reason to have multiple different craft. If they didn't have any real disadvantages, you wouldn't need to that be an issue here with windows. Let's start looking at windows. That is often very important in game, getting your windows in. See what the angle is going to be. We still have a huge deficit on what we have for windows in game. So I might not do. I'm thinking of. I might have to narrow it out like that. I don't know. So one of the nice things about this, I'll bring that that picture up, the reference material again here, so you can see it. So you can see it doesn't have any glass underneath, which is convenient and nice. It's actually a little bit square, more square under here. Again, not going to be a replica, but the big thing is the windows. I really need to knock these windows in. That's a big element of it, and I need to do that kind of early to be able to make sure that this works right. So I'm kind of putting windows on top here. All right, so let's put in windows, and then I will resculpt the bottom to that. So these diamonds are always, I have a struggle with getting these angled the right way, how I want them. Let's try that for now. Oh, come on. Like, I'm not a, like, some people, especially, it makes sense. Like, a lot of people who don't have a lot of equipment operation experience, they tend to go super duper on visibility. And part of it is, as you operate equipment more and you get more comfortable with it, the need for you to be able to see outside is decreased because you have kind of an innate understanding of how it almost feels, and you'll know where the nose of your craft is. You'll, like, you almost like feel where your wingtips are because, you just get used to it. And so I don't need something that has ultra visibility. Like a lot of people like always do bubble canopies and stuff, and I don't really need that. I have been an operator forever, and I kind of understand. I can kind of intuit where things need to be. I don't need all that visibility. Like I have some tricks and some skill from doing it for so long that I don't really need to have a bubble canopy to be able to see where I'm going. Now we can go a little bit pointy on this because of the fact that we're going to have rotor blades that are really going to be the limiting factor. See, that needs to go. I'm going to move all of this here. The nice thing too with this grab tool is, you see, as long as I don't grab all the seat, it will not bother me to move that, and I can do that because I need that space to be able to put the panel in. I need 2 blocks for the panel. There we go. Okay. All right, so just kind of getting this shaped out and see how I like it. You know, the nice thing with not doing a replica is also that it really allows me to take some liberties and to kind of take the things that we have to worry about in game and kind of put those to the forefront. So I might actually switch these out to 2s. I'm trying to think. Probably get that. This diamond was what I needed here. These diamonds, like I said, I always have issues lined correctly. Just a little pokey when trying to get them lined up. A lot of rotation to get these right sometimes. Yeah, these I always struggle with. Okay, good. That's where I want that. All right, and then I'll probably go like this initially. Then, you know, this helicopter is kind of a beaky nose. I have to try to figure out how to get. Maybe that, and let's go back a bunch to there, and then I don't see, I can't put something in there. That's the issue. That already takes up some of the block, so I think I was in the right avenue here. I need to get a. So that's kind of setting up the bottom tier of glass there. All right, and then let's start just banging in some glass. I just need to see how this is going to look and how it's going to feel. Now, I don't mind this being like kind of old school, where it's a little bit square and boxy. I don't mind that too much. Old. All right. And so let's see, how would I make a note? Try this pyramid by 4 right here. Let's try right here, maybe. Yeah, the reference material had a very squared out bottom. I think I'll square out the bottom and we'll slope the top a little bit. I don't know if how much of that. I'll fix this up, but let's see. You know, I've talked about my method and how my method is often different than other people. I kind of box it out, then I start doing my sculpting in later. I find that works better for me. It just it solves a lot of the problems I have with spatial issues with build, and then I can fix it. It doesn't need to be that pointy nose. I'm not actually putting things like radar in there where you might have actual radar. So let's go by 2s. Again, I don't want the length to be too much. We still do have to worry about the rotor blades. And this will integrate this. All right, so that kind of sets that up for here. All right, nice. We're starting to get there. Now, I don't want a super bubble on there. I kind of want it a little bit more restricted visibility. I don't like bubbles. And yeah, it's a difference between, you have professional operators who operate machinery all day long, and they very much, like I said, they can intuit and they can feel how, where say, the nose of their truck is. And so, like, you can get the nose of your truck within inches of an object without hitting it. And you have somebody who's not used to that. Of course, that's not their skill set. So for them, it seems like, oh, there's no way you could not hit that if you didn't have a bubble canopy. And for those of us who are used to operating like that, it's just, we don't need that. You can kind of intuit where your nose is. Okay, so I'm kind of digging that. I don't like right here, though. That's an issue. Let me try something here. I might be able to cut this back and a bit more. So let's try this. Kind of starting to see shapes that I like. I'm starting to see angles that I like. I like that. That's starting to look good to me. So now I need to make the glass work, which is kind of a pain. It's feeling a little bit too wide to me. It definitely is, I think. So now that I kind of have that nose, I'm kind of feeling where I like it, where it should be, and now I'm hopefully going to be able to cut in here and work from there. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I don't want it as wide. I'm thinking maybe, yeah, that'll make it a little bit sleeker, and that's always nice when you kind of sleek something up. All right, and so where do I want my visibility here? So can't really get a piece of glass in there because it's a 2x. But what I can do is here. Let's cut out that, and then what we can do is we can start going to 1x's. This is going to just give me better dynamics where I can work with this and start to angle and shape. And problem is all of our windows presently in game are essentially 45-degree angles, which a 1x2 wedge will give you a 5. And so we kind of have to work within that paradigm of 45-degree angle windows. That's why a lot of us are hoping that they'll increase the variety of windows to give us more angles, like 1x2 angle windows would be better. Kind of flicking around up. But again, this is kind of my method here. Just get rocking and rolling on this and try I can get to. Here, I'm liking the tub of this helicopter already, kind of the fuselage. Tub isn't. Let's see. So I want about one on either side of the seat. And so I need to go up that much. Kind of look eyeballing this. I'm going to do some windows in here. So we have our nose. The nose can move forward and back as necessary. Big thing I'm going to need to do is put a window in here, so I'm going to start doing that. I've tended to lately been using a lot of single seat helicopters, especially because it just gives you that space that you need. So that's fine. That nose is going to go forward one, I think. So let's go ahead and grab this nose out. grab all that. And so I can start pushing this nose forward. And what I can do with that is put in my windows, and then I can slide it back wherever I can get, and however close to the seat I can make it. Try this one. All right, so let's see how I can get this kind of lined up. Trying to think of how to make. So this needs to go back one. That out, and then right there, perfect. All right, so that goes there. And you, sir, will go like this. So this is still like the really kind of aerodynamic nose section of it, like so. And then as we get in here, we're going to start to break into a more square back. So we're starting to square it out where we need passenger capacity. There's our flat side. I'm going to have to go one more back to get that at least 2 flat side. And then here we'll probably do it so we have a 3 flat side. So that's starting to allow me to square out our back to start to take care of some of the problems related with that. Come on, guy, pull. There we go. All right, that's good. And then, all right, so that's starting to look like a cool nose for me. Now I need to work the glass, which I should be able to put some diamonds in here. If I can get. All right, let's try it. I think these are 2 buys. They're 1 buys. Okay. Try with some of these diamonds that are always a pain. Always struggle with these. Need a 1 by 1 by 2. Be a 1 by 1 by 3, I think. These I always struggle to figure out which one. Diamonds are. That's the one I want there. So give me a little bit of angle on my glass. These will be 1 by 3s here. And then I don't even screw with them. Or like trying to get them right in the right place. I'll just drag them. It's quick enough with this drag and select tool. This makes life easy. All right, so that's starting to shape up nicely as a nose. I need all this flat real estate here to be able to put in panels and whatnots. That's looking good. This can go for now. Yeah, I'm liking the look of that nose. It's kind of a little bit modern. I like that. A little bit weird in here, I think, but like that it stops here. Let's see if I can't fix. This is the only area here that I'm not really all that. I think if I drag one of these, I can. Yeah, so that just goes sooner. Initially had it. Some more symmetrical now, so. Often the brain rebels when it's not symmetrical. Like, I don't know why it doesn't look right. It's symmetry. Something's not symmetrical. It's like, there's wrong there. That looks cool. I like that. A little bit birdie. I like it. All right, nice. And all right, so now let's see. I'm gonna try getting the seat as you know what I need to. Let's try something different here. Generally, like I said, I'm not a huge visibility guy. I don't need tons of visibility. It's just personal preference. I don't need it. I don't want it. But I generally don't do any like a lot of high vis on top, and I might try that this time, adding a little bit of high vis on. Go right to 3 by 1. Okay, and that's what 2 by 3s. 2 by 3s are always my preference. Yeah, so I tend to like that, and then do a 2 by 2 here. I'm trying to do a little bit of viz on this helicopter there. I'm just kind of looking at the reference material where like how the window's cut and trying to, you know, look at some reference material. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it does help you make things look a certain way that you. And this helps to kind of thin the cockpit area. Not do that. All right, so that's kind of the roof, and so what do I want to check out? I want to. Oh, that is have to be ones to make. Oh, what are you? You are. Always, I easily know what that one should. So just do a hardened roof. That gives me space for putting micros and panels up top. A hard roof. As long as I have enough headroom that I don't feel completely like I'm crushed in there, I think we're right. Let me try some things here. Try to do another layer of glass up top. May not like it. Let's see. It should be a 3 by. Is it hard to spatially understand? I could switch that to a 3 or on glass there. Let's try something. See how I like this. This gives me a little bit more height, a little less claustrophobia. Oh, finding these sometimes pain. So like I have a 3 by 1 by 1. I need 3. Okay. Now we'll see how this feels when I fit in here. This is going to be a pretty tall helicopter, and so I can actually inset. So it's going to be a tall helicopter, and it's because the engine's going to be high on top, kind of like that Airbus that was my reference material. And so because of that, window height's not too bad. It's going to. But it's going to be very glassy. I tend not to do super glassy stuff. A little bit more greenhouse. And part of it's, different. I like to make the build different. That's part of the cool thing that I enjoy. Doing something different for a change, seeing how you like it, what you like better. That is super tall now. Don't think it needs to be that tall. It definitely doesn't. That's fine. I was good putting the seat in there to kind of learn that. Can I get this any closer? I don't think I can. I wish I could push further, but whatever. Collisions are collisions. I'd have to fake the collisions to make them. All right, so that's not bad. There's our dash. This is ultra tall now. That's a little bit on the tall. So that's definitely too. Grab some wind. I want to bring this down and see what like. Good. Yeah, let's go back to where we were there, and then I'm gonna kind of check this out and sit in there and see how it feels. problem, like, I don't have any flat glass pieces, so I'm gonna have to lose that visibility on top. I kind of want to try one with visibility on top, but it's already kind of right for me. I kind of say bon voyage, that concept of having a glass roof. I don't know, let me try this. Let's have one space above our head. Let's try a glass roof, see if I can end it. Yeah, it's gonna be back where it was. I'm not making any difference. We lose panel space. So let's try this, and if I don't like this, we can. This tends to be my preference, hardened roof. And it also, I don't, like I said, I don't want this to. All right, that goes like that, and then I'll just build the whole back up again. But all right, so let's just delete that. Right now, like I was talking about before, one of the objects of this helicopter is not to be enormous. I want this to be reasonably pretty small. I need it to be small to be able to fit on the new home ship, and that tends to be my preference to have it to be. All right, so the other thing is I need to start thinking about getting the engine up top reasonably quick. I need to start to convert to kind of a square top where I can put an engine. Starting to already kind of think of that. Put the engine in there. Already starting to get to that. Think of that. Start squaring out this top and this back so that I can put. Because I'm going to go diesel. Diesel is just super duper efficient, and it tends to be my preference. So for diesel, I'm going to need a minimum of, minimum of 3 blocks, but really 5 tends to be pretty good because I need to be able to fit in coolant and pipes and everything else, and I run out of space if I don't. I get 5 space. That's 10. All right, good. So starting to come along, starting to shape up nicely, I think. Pushing up this angle. Trying to do a little bit of angling in here. That's kind of why this is. Of course, there. Try this for a second and this. See if I can hear this. That should make it look a little sleeker, like so. That's good. There's a little bit interesting in here. I might. Might try this. See how this looks. This having little facets and different changes and shapes, like here, like we have some flat slopes. That kind of breaks it up and makes it so it doesn't. Gives a little bit of interest because I'm not working with just shapely. That will help that with looks in the looks department. Also put some windows in. That will help. All right, because we're going up into here, we need to get up into our engine bay. I'm just, I keep cross-referencing. Yeah. So I kind of want to I think I kind of want to go square up in this compartment. Tends to go pretty vertical in the reference, like so. I'm already too strained here. I'm already down to 3. I need a little bit more width here. Choose where I'm not going to be able to fit my engine in, and that is a huge component of. So as far as we want to go in is about here, and then we want to straighten up to be able to fit all that engine. Now, a lot of this is practice, just figuring out solving problems become problems. Things can very quickly become problems. You're not thinking ahead. Okay. All right, so there we go there. Starting to come along. It's looking square here, but it's also the start coming up towards the tail here that will make that a little bit more. But the reference material has this big lump on the top as well, where the engine kind of function over form is, frankly, the look isn't as important to me. Making sure that now and again. I'm gonna quickly, we're getting there on time, so let me quickly just try to slap in a modular. This does not need to be an ultra powerful helicopter. This is going to be small and it's going to be fast. Those are the main criteria that I need. It's small and fast, and because that's what I'm looking for, I'm not going to need a really ultra powerful radial. So right there, let's try this. Let's do. I'm trying to think. Let's get that. So I need a belt drive. Go down. So if I go down 1, I need to cut the roof line here. Floor line is here. I just need to figure out the space. So 7 is a full player character. So what is that? Let's say if I cut the here, where 6. Okay, so we'd have to crouch, but we can almost stand in here. Actually might not be too bad. I'll do a little test run where I put my character in there and see how it feels. Let's do a little test run here. We'll bring the character in. I'll see if I can get this in there. Like this is actually not too bad space-wise. That's actually looking pretty good in the engine compartment. So let's go ahead and put this in the ground. Do a quick test fit of my body. How we're feeling. Yeah, this is good. I like this size. This isn't a normie. This is pretty good. A little bit of crouch in here. So I can stand up. I'm probably clipping through if I go. You see I'm barely clipping through, so that's actually fine. I kind of like a little bit of a crouch feeling here. Plenty of space in here. This feels good. Plenty of panel space here. Some good visibility. Yeah, this is nice. And so I can put panels. See, I can't really see above me anyway. Right there. So I can put I can't put panels. I can put 1 row of panels barely there. But I have a lot of good real estate. This is a no-go. All of this is where is this a no-go too? This might all be available real estate there for panels. So that's plenty of paneling. That's not too bad. Let's quickly toss in some seats in the rear. So the nice thing with these padded seats, we need a 2-wide aisle, and we have a 3-wide aisle. So that's, what are we talking here? 1, 5, yeah. So I like these padded seats because I can put them sideways like this, and you actually get a good bit of capacity on them. You don't have to make the build enormous. Do a little bit more fleshing out. Right there is a good capacity. That's a lot of capacity. Wouldn't 5, 10 people right there. That's not bad at all. Right, and so I want to kind of probably start coming up around there. All right, so let's grab some pyramids. I'm digging on the shape already. The shape's coming along nicely. We can still put in some good facets and stuff to kind of make this work for us. And I don't want this ultra, ultra long because that is going to cause me all sorts of problems with trying to get on the home ship. So I really have to be cognizant of that. Make sure I'm not making this too long. Let's go. Kind of doing this as a gradation makes that a little bit less sharp. Like there. Okay. Now let's transition to 1-bys like so. Okay, and then I want to come down. Continue back here. We can build a very long engine in here too, which is kind of... Yeah, so this is shaping up pretty nicely. I'm liking this. And then I want to come down. 5. Okay. Try to kind of finish it out here. Let's cut some here. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that's cutting out nice. That. And so it goes into a pretty thin tail with a horizontal tail plane on there. Actually, this is where we're going to run into issues going 4s and 2s. I think a better strategy is this. Start our cut-in pass here. I want to have it stay high on the top. That maybe. Nosing. Make life easy for me, guy. So that's starting to look pretty good. That's coming along. We're gonna have to put in side doors, but we can put custom side doors in. I don't need this to be waterproof. This isn't gonna float or anything. One thought I had was to fore it up and cut in earlier. Let's try this really quick. I need to cut this tail in more. I just need to cut this tail in more. I'm looking at, again, I don't want this to be long, and so I have to really that. Try something. But I think we're getting on the right path here of starting to get. Let's try this here, actually. Okay, so let's cut in here, and then what I want to do is I want to grab a block and just go straight back like so, and then I need to grab, thinking 1x2 pyramids here, grab a 1x2 pyramid. So, all right, that's going to give me kind of the anglage. That's probably too thin, or that's thinning out too fast. Again, trying to keep the overall length down on this sucker, but that's not too bad. All right, good. So that's kind of the That's kind of the thinning schedule. I want to follow is the schedule at which. So this is just kind of methodology on getting this tail thinned out. So let's there. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to angle this up. Comes a pain. This is when we need like proper pyramid. Thin it out nicely there. Just finish up. Oh, I can get. It's gonna be tough to fix. I want it. That definitely needs to go to keep that schedule going up. Let's actually, we'll switch out here. Go from there. Got a little bit of a thinning schedule going here. This is just missing blocks. Like, I could thin by 1/16. That'd be nice, but I don't want to go in. All right, so let's see. I think this is what we'll do. Let's go straight up, and then I'm gonna just like artificially thin the tail. Get a little couple minutes. I'm gonna want to start bringing this up. Okay, there. I'd say cut you. Keep this a little bit squared out, and back here. And then I'll just kind of almost staple the tail on. I think that will actually work all right in this. Not all that big. Our engine nacelle, we can thin this out a little bit here by doing this. Can't really. Out, so it'll be try this here. How this comes. So that brings the top down a little bit, and then what we'll do is we'll essentially come in almost like staple on a. And we just can't thin like we could in real life with block joist. But as you can see, this is like a pretty thin profile. It's not super thick as it is. A little bit of a bulbous engine covering, which is what I like. And then in here, I'm trying to think. Oh, cut out here. Kind of shape tail plane. Something I can cut into. Something like that. All right, and they have a horizontal tail plane coming into a couple rudders, which rudders. This is not going to look like this again, but thinking out loud about what's. Especially as you're going forward motion in game, you're going to need to have pretty big control surface to maintain the pitch ability because the rotor stops doing it. And so That's actually not too bad because that's going to be pretty wide. That's actually kind of getting where we want it. That's pretty good there. I like that. So the engine nacelle itself is going to be pretty tall. Maybe like that. It is really super duper tall. Reference material. And then we're talking, there's kind of like the engine goes in there. Gonna just do kind of like that. Kind of in general shapes. All right, and then center of gravity is Zang right there, which makes sense, and it's where I want it. I'll probably go up like that. Let's grab a rotor. A lot of this is conceptual phase. Let's see. Probably that's too small. Probably. And then we'll drag that to be smaller. That is better. That it just sticks over tri-blade neutral, like so. Okay, so that's there, and then I'm just making a quick pop here. So right there, center of gravity. Drop in here. These only need to be aircraft propellers, but I get rotors to be small. Yeah, see, I can't drag these. I don't know why they didn't do that for aircraft propellers. I love to use aircraft propellers more, but I can't drag their length. So that is beautiful. That's actually good shape-wise. So I might do an angle with a flat bottom, and then the shaft can be in there because the shafts have to be flat. Go smaller. I want these as small. That way I can get them higher probably. No, I want them at center of gravity anyway. And then these are probably running 5 blades. So, but I'd say that is kind of the workings of the helicopter. The shape looks nice. I have to have enough space, flat space, that's not going up into an angle behind the center of gravity for gear. Nose wheel will go into the nose. I should have just enough room in here for probably a little bit of a... Yeah, see, I can probably... It doesn't need to be retractable. It's not going to be retractable. This is going to be fixed gear. But yeah, that is really shaping along nicely. I'm liking that. Everything spatially works out. The props aren't going to hit the rotor. The rotor's looking good. The rotor could actually come down 1, which is probably what I will do. We'll cut that, bring it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Again, this is, trying to put another tool in the toolbox. This allows us to do more missions. It allows us to get more variety and cash. And like I've said before, the way I play is I play what I'm feeling like. So this should be pretty cool. I like this. So let's absolutely make sure we save this. Let's see. Career Build Series 23 Hilo. So this will be our new helicopter for the Career Build Series, and hopefully we can get some good speed out of this. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and I'll see you in the next one.